Recording. Got some upgrades, or a nice upgrade to the dirt bike. The upgrade here is a map controller that works right off of this little Bluetooth device. My map right here, this is a Gaia GPS. It works on any map. It doesn't really matter what mapping software you are, but I've recorded these button actions right here to work on this map. So when I double click up, it will move the map up. When I double click down, it will move it down. Same with the right, same with the left. When I single click the center, it will move my map or recenter my map. I've also recorded a couple of other options here in this little Bluetooth controller, and those are my double click, which will bring up the status bar at the top. The status bar in Gaia is not up by default. However, I did notice a problem with my, not a problem, but you just kind of have to work around this. Every time you open up Gaia and press settings, it wants to know, where do you want to go here? So I want to go into map controls. And once I tell it where I want to go, for some reason, maps, back to maps. Now when I press settings, it goes straight to map controls instead of that list of options on the left. So my double click works to bring up the status bar at the top. Double click again, it takes the status bar away. If I want to record a trip, I need the status bar at the top, and I just hold in my key in the center and it will start recording the track. Of course, Gaia wants some feedback here, so I just tell it, hey, I'm going off-road, and you can see that it's recording the track right now. In order to stop the track, I just hold my center button down and it stops the track. It wants to know what you want to do with this. In this case, of course, I'm going to delete it, but that's the basics of operation. Right here is my controller, and it will control this interface that's up. How did I do this? Number one, you need the Bluetooth controller. Got this for less than 10 bucks. They're on Amazon as well. You can find them for somewhere around the $30 range. And in retrospect, I probably should have done that because they have some water resistant, waterproof controllers, and I'll probably need that at some point for sure. For right now, I'll probably just slip this off and throw it in my pocket. First of all, let's get back to the list. Number one, you need the Bluetooth controller. The Bluetooth controller just hooks up to your tablet or your phone or whatever. And by default, it controls all of the, these settings for any music controller. So if you have a music player that's a default music player, it will allow you to play, pause, push the volume up or down, or switch tracks. That's what it does by default. And it does that by default as well. However, I made this one work with the Gaia. If Gaia is up, it does certain operations, certain actions. If the Gaia map is down, then it will operate the default music player on the tablet. So you need the Bluetooth command controller, remote controller. You also need a piece of software called Key Mapper. This is it right here. It's Key Mapper. I downloaded this for free. And what this does is, you have to get it working, follow the instructions. Once you get it working, you want to record certain triggers. And down here is the plus symbol for adding a trigger. What is a trigger? Well, a trigger is the action that you're going to do. And in this case, I said, hey, when I press the volume down on the smart remote, you could see it right here. When I press the volume down on the smart remote, I want a certain action to happen. So I said, hey, when this goes down, when I press that button down, I want an action to happen. Here's the action. I want it to tap my screen coordinates, 560, 1700. Those are the screen coordinates needed to zoom out. All right? So when I press down, it zooms out. And this constraint menu allows you to only have this operation work when Gaia GPS is in the foreground. So if there's anything else in the foreground, this defaults to a radio or music application player, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. So that's how you do this. I want to just cancel out of there. I've already recorded all of my actions. So what actions? You can see I have a volume down that zooms out. I have a volume up that zooms in. I hit the play pause trigger button on the smart remote and it goes to the center coordinate. I can do double presses in any direction. I can do double presses with the center button. So I recorded these triggers and I told it what action to take. And when I record the action to take, it allows me to choose a screenshot that I have in my phone. It allows me to choose a screenshot and to choose a coordinate. So I took screenshots of all of the Gaia actions that I wanted. So here's a screenshot. And I said, hey, I want you to click this coordinate when I hit this button. So that's how it works. You trigger it with the button. It reacts by clicking on a certain coordinate. And also, you guys noticed that when I double click, I recorded several actions to be done with just that one double click. So that means moving up may do one action or two actions or 3 or 10 actions. You can record it to do whatever you'd like. When I click the double center, it does 3 actions automatically. I programmed it that way. It clicks settings, it toggles this status bar, and then it switches over to maps again. And then it gets rid of the status bar. So check it out. Double click the button. You can see it. It went into the map controls, it unchecked the status bar, and it came back. Now I've got a clean map with nothing on the top. Double click it again, it goes through those same actions, and it brings the status bar back up. So fantastic little mod. Didn't take much. All I did was bend a little piece of metal in here. See that? Bend a little piece of metal. I stuck it underneath the top bolt for that throttle control. And it's a little bolt that works out behind there. Glued everything up nice and tight. And now I've got something, it's not in the way. And of course, this is stuff that you don't use on a regular basis. If you wanted to go here to the left side of the handlebar, which seems like the obvious choice, the problem is, where do you put this round controller that won't interfere with your high beams, low beams, turn signals, the horn? Like all this stuff over here you use on a regular basis. But this over here, you can control while you're holding the throttle moving down the highway or something. Obviously, you're not going to do this in tight trails. But if you wanted to hit it real quick up or down to zoom in or zoom out, you can do that quickly while you're on the throttle. Otherwise, I pictured this is mainly going to be used when I'm cruising down a nice straightaway. Hey, let me see where I'm going. Let me see where I came from. Let me see where the next trail cut in. So you can do that easily. So any one of these Bluetooth controllers will work. Amazon, Temu, wherever you can find them. You do the recording or the programming, so to speak, through a third-party app called Map Key Mapper, which is this one right here. You tell it how to react. And also you give it the constraint that says, hey, I only want to do this when my mapping program is up. So you don't use Gaia. That's fine. You can do it for whatever mapping control you have. You set up, you tell it what coordinates to hit. So when I hit this down button over here, in case you didn't pick it up the first time, I took a screenshot of this map and it has this up-down arrow. I know yours doesn't show in Gaia by default, but go into the settings and you can show these 2 buttons. So when I press the down arrow, it will click on a coordinate on the screen. It's not a map coordinate, it's a coordinate on the screen. That's why you take screenshots for anything that you want to control. So I told it, hey, when I click the down arrow, you click on the negative button, which zooms out. When I click on the up arrow or volume up, you click on the plus arrow over here. So those are 2 separate coordinates on the screen, and you tell it which one to click, and you can map those keys to whatever actions you want on this screen. Works for tablets, works for your phone, works for anything. It's great for hands-on control. I don't have to touch the screen now. I don't have to, I got this thing in the way here, but anyway, I don't have to zoom in. I don't have to zoom out. I can control all of that right here. And you can set it up the way you like, whatever's comfortable for you. All right, fellas, hope you're having a great day.